Welcome to Dragonfly Trading. My name is Carrie, and I'm a full-time Elliott Wave trader in the crypto and Forex markets. Today's video is going to be an update on Bitcoin. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just the way that I see the market. Whatever Bitcoin decides to do here, I feel that the ETH and the altcoins will follow. Some of you probably have wondered where I've been. My computer decided that it needed to see the doctor, and there wasn't much I could do about it. But I did update on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, I would follow me, basically, because I do update as much as I can there. And I did put out a post that my computer was broken. Okay, guys, so if you've been following me in my videos, you know that what we want to see here is a wave 1, a wave 2. We want this to be 3. We want this to be 4. And we want this big wave 5 to the upside, which would be very high up there, okay? What we don't want to do, and pretty much all of you know this by now, we don't want to come into this wave 1. And you can see on the weekly time frame where our big support is coming in at, and that's sitting right at the top of our wave 1. So we want one of these supports to hold. If it doesn't, it will invalidate this count. I've talked about it in other videos of what I think that it would be if that happens. I feel it would be a higher degree wave 4. It would look like a bear market, but I don't feel we'd ever break this big block of resistance we have here. Okay? But it's not something that I'm concerned with right at the moment. It's something to think about, something to plan for, but I'm not leaning that way just yet. I will not get concerned until we come down to this bottom resistance and I see how this bounces. I've talked about connector moves many times in my videos. What we don't want to happen here, and this is a ways away, guys, but I'm just kind of planning for the future here. If we decide that we're going to come deep and we're going to come all the way down to this bottom resistance, what we don't want to happen is that we make a connector. Okay? Because if we make a connector, we're trending more to the downside. What we want to happen, if we come all the way down there, is that we V cut up and we come up in a 5-wave move. That's what we want. We want a strong bounce, wick, and we want to come up in a 5-wave move. That's what we need there, nothing else. So, in Elliott Wave, your wave 2 and your wave 4 usually are different corrections. It's a guideline. It's not a rule, meaning that it doesn't have to do that, but majority of the time it does. So our wave 2 was a flat. The best analysis I can give it is it was a flat. With that said, what do we have available to us left? We have a running flat. We have an expanded flat. We have a WXY. And the last thing we have is a triangle. We're going to talk about it and how we can go about each one of these and which ones we can wipe off the table here, okay? Before we do that, let's take a look at our RSI. Right now, we're sitting and cracking the 50 mark. Back here, when we were in this bull run, we never broke the 50. When we were correcting and bouncing in here and trying to recover out of this, we were holding 40 and hitting our heads just above 50. It wasn't until we cracked through 40 that this capitulation or bigger dump happened. What do we need to do? We need to hold 40 like we did back here. What that will create, hopefully, is bullish divergence. We'll hold it and we'll kick off. That's what we need on the weekly time frame. I don't want to see us crack 40. Let's move on down to the daily. And let's talk about these corrections. Let me get it where I can talk about it here. Okay, blue boxes are gaps. They're there, guys. They're psychological things that control the market by our emotions. We all know they are there. We're all thinking they're probably going to be filled. So because so many people feel they're going to be filled, that's what kind of makes them eventually be filled. Do they have to be filled right now? No. But I feel I would rather fill them now than come back to them later. That's the way I look at it. Let's talk about the W, X, and the Y first. Okay? The way that this correction can happen is that we would have to make an A, a B, and a C inside of here. And this can come deeper, guys. Okay, it can come down deeper. The only way we're going to make this correction that I can see on the table right now is if we end up turning this into a diagonal. Okay? It's going to have to turn into a diagonal. And the way the count stands right now, this would be wave 1, 2. This is going to be 3. We're going to get a bounce for 4 and 5. And they're all going to have to be 5-wave moves for wave 3 is going to have to be a 5-wave move. Wave 1 already is, and wave 5 is going to have to be a 5-wave move. I'm not leaning this way particularly. But this is possible and still on the table. So what would happen is this all would turn into an A. We'd bounce for B. Could come up pretty high for that. And then we would come down for a C. And that would complete our Y wave. Tried to make that as simple as possible I could for you there. Right? We're going to have to make a diagonal. Now let's talk about the running flat. Running flats break the top of the high and they come into the expanded B pocket. How would we make that happen? First, most important thing is we cannot break this low. Absolutely cannot break it. This would complete a 5-wave move down and would have to be shallow and not break the low. That would create a 3-wave move. We would bounce back to the upside in a 3-wave move and break the high. And then we would come down for our C wave, which would mean a lot longer that this correction is going to go on. This is a lot of price action, probably a couple of more months. But that's how it would have to happen. It's possible. It is possible still right now, but we cannot absolutely break this 29K level. Okay? Let's take this one off. Expanded flat. And I forgot one correction that's not on here. A zigzag. Okay? Let's put that on there now. Let's talk about the expanded flat. It's going to have to happen the exact same way. Okay? The exact same way. The only difference between those two corrections is this C wave comes deeper. The running flat truncates and doesn't break this low. And the expanded flat breaks it and would probably come down and fill these gaps. That's the only difference, and it has to get there the same way. Now let's talk about this one, the zigzag. And this correction is kind of the one I'm leaning towards, guys. I'm going to be honest, this is the one I'm leaning towards. This correction means that our B wave is in. We're not going to go any higher here. And we're coming down in the C wave now. This would be 1, 2. We're going to come down deep for 3, 4, and then 5. This inner part is what we call a 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a 1, it's a 2, and it's the 3, 4, 5 of the inner third. Okay. Let's do some projections on some things here. The shallowest, absolutely shallowest correction we can have here is assuming that we ended over here. And I've talked about this in prior videos. It's assuming that what we made here was an A, a B, and a C. We made an ABC back up. And now we're going to have a very small 5-wave move for our C wave. The minimum requirement is the 618. Do I think that this is going to happen? I'm not particularly leaning that way, that it's going to be able to hold here. It might. It could actually do it. But if it does it, it's not going to fill these gaps, and it's actually going to front run this first one. What we need when it hits is a 5-wave move. We have to have a 5-wave move out of here. If we make a correction type of wave, that's not going to get us what we want, and we're going to come deeper. If we make another kind of corrective wave, we're going to come deeper. If this A, B, C is the way it happened, the next target is the 1-to-1. That's sitting at 26,208. You pull your fibs from the top of your A to the bottom low to the top of this B. That's how you get these fibs. Okay? Now, and each one is going to be a target as we come down. If it happened this way, I talked about it in my prior videos that we are not sure whether it happened with an ABC Or the top is over here and we ended with a diagonal and we made 5 waves down for A. If we did, you're going to pull your fibs to the top. It makes the targets different. What do I do? When I'm unsure of which way that this happened, I pull them both ways. And I watch for a reaction from those fib levels. So, pulling the other way, the shallowest is right below that gap. And then as you can see, the 1-to-1, 1.236, and I don't want to see us break 17,300, the bottom of this resistance. I don't want to see us break it. I know that this can seem a little confusing to those of you that don't understand Elliott Wave and don't even understand how to pull fibs. These are the things that you will learn in my Discord. I plan to pretty much clone myself with each and every one of you. So if you are interested in that, send an email to Dragonflytradingsystem at Gmail. It's in the description below, okay? Let me talk about the way that I'm leaning right now, guys. Before I do that, let's take a look at the RSI. We did have, well, not quite. Yes, we did have bullish divergence on the daily, and now we've bounced. We need to create another bullish divergence here. That is what I will be looking for on the daily time frame. Let's go down a little further so I can talk about what I think this is. It's either one of two things in my mind, guys, and I can't get around it. And you know, it's just what it is, and it's either one or two things are going to happen here. It's either going to create that diagonal I talked about, okay, where this is 1, this is 2, this is going to be 3, 4, and then we're going to get a 5. Now, I may not have this exactly how it's going to turn out here. Okay. But this is what it's going to look like. A contracting, some people call them a falling wedge. That's what it's going to look like. Or, and the way that I'm more leaning between the two, is what we've created is a 1-2-1-2. Where this is 1, this is 2. We're going to come down deep for 3, 4, 5. And this inside is a 1, a 2. We're going to come down for 3, 4, 5. How deep this is going to come, I cannot project right at this moment. I can project it a little bit, but you know how panic selling can take place. Okay, let's see how deep this could possibly come. If it's going to go this way, this is how deep it's going to come, guys. So we are looking at down to that 1-to-1 or the 1.236. Let's pan out a little bit here so we can take a look at it. Let's go out to the daily. Let me change the color of this. Move it over, make it nice and pretty. Okay. As you can see, the 3.236 is coming right into this 1-to-1. When you have a 1-2-1-2 like this, your first 1 and 2, your 3, most of the time will hit the 2.618. You'll get a bounce for 4, and then your 5 will come down to the 3.236. This is lining up pretty well, guys. We do have support here, but it can come deeper if it wants to. I've seen them come much deeper. But let's see if we can hold here or even hold up here. It's possible that we make the diagonal. As it sits right now on the lower time frames, I'm not seeing any bullish divergence to hold us up here. Yep. I mean, guys, this is really looking like it wants to come down, I'm going to be honest. So basically, if I had to say our next move is going to come up like this in some type of correction, and then we're coming down. Now, what will invalidate the 1-2-1-2? What will invalidate it is coming up above 45-11 on log scale. If we break above that, it will invalidate this 1-2-1-2. Okay? And if it does that, I'll reassess at that time of what this could possibly be. Because right now I'm leaning on the 1-2. I really am leaning towards the 1-2-1-2. Unfortunately, yeah. Because of how sharp and violent this leg came down. Okay? So I hope this helps you out, guys. And yeah, that's about it. So don't panic, plan, and I will update as much as I can. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.